Hi guys, happy Thursday. I'm so glad to be finally filming a video again. I kind of took the whole month off. I know it's a long time, but I was really sick for the first part of March, and then been really busy with work and stuff, and there's really no excuse to why I haven't filmed a video, but I'm glad to be back, and I'm going to do a video like I did at the end of February, the 3 must-sees of March and one that I don't recommend. I know I haven't really filmed anything this month, but I did post 2 things yesterday. They're older videos. One is from 2009 when I was in broadcasting school. It is the music video I did for my class with 3 of my other classmates to How to Save a Life by The Fray. So that's pretty interesting. You can go check that out, as well as just a photo and video compilation of stuff I put together from a trip that I took down to Miami Beach with my mom last February, end of last February, to go see my sister who lives down there. And that was fun, and so I posted those to kind of make up for really not putting anything else up for this month, but you'll have this and those other 2. And so I'll start with my movies that I highly recommend. So the first movie I recommend to you guys for this month is Memento. It came out in 2000, and it is directed by Christopher Nolan, the same guy who did Inception. And it's basically chronicling the life. It's probably only like a week in this guy's life, but he is trying to find the guy who raped and murdered his wife. The only issue is he has short-term memory loss, because the same night his wife was murdered, he was slammed into a wall and he hit his head, and now he can no longer remember anything past that evening. And it's kind of strange, because Christopher Nolan's style, you know, Inception, you have a dream inside of a dream inside of a dream, and this movie, it's just so many thoughts, and the movie plays completely backwards. So it's like you're seeing the end and the conclusion that he comes to, and you know who he decides he feels that the person is that killed his wife, and just how all these people treat him. And you have to think, if you have short-term memory loss, people are gonna take advantage of that. If you can't remember past 5 to 10 minutes, if that, you'll never know if you've met somebody or what they've said or what they've done. And it just kind of shares his story and goes over all of that, as well as a parallel to his life when he was an insurance agent, and goes over a story of a case that he went over with a guy with short-term memory loss with the same issue. So it goes back and forth between those 2. It's a fantastic story. It's definitely a psychological thriller. If you're into those kind of movies, this is definitely one for you to watch. It stars Guy Pearce, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Joe Pantoliano. Yeah. They all do fantastic jobs, and Carrie-Anne Moss is just incredible. She doesn't, I don't know, I don't want to give anything away about her character, but boy oh boy does she play one heck of a character. So Memento, definitely rent it, find it, watch it somehow. My second movie is Sucker Punch. I was looking forward to this movie for so long, and I went and saw it last Friday night, opening night. It was my dad's birthday, and he's been excited to see it, and so the whole family went. It is really good. It follows this girl, baby doll as they call her. Her stepfather put her into a mental institution because her mother died and he wants the house, and so he's committing her and saying that she's crazy, and he's going to have her lobotomized in 5 days' time. And so the whole story chronicles her and 5 other girls, wait, not 5, 4, sorry, 4 other girls within the institution who are trying to escape. And I didn't really know how it was going to go back and forth between the world that they're in at the institution and between them in this fantasy world that you saw in the previews, but it does a fantastic job of describing and explaining how they get into this world, what it is, and it's really good. If you're a fan of any visually stunning movies or really stylized, the whole opening scene of this movie is really like a music video, because it's quite interesting. Definitely something to see. It's a heroic tale. It's smart. I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. I wish it had a little more of the psychological aspect to it. It did have somewhat, but not as much as I would have wanted. It was definitely more about the visual aspect, but I'm not downgrading it anymore because of that, because it really was a fantastic film. I recommend everyone to go out and see it. It was definitely really good. It stars Emily Browning, Vanessa Hudgens, Abby Cornish, and Jenna Malone. Fantastic. Go see it. And the third film that I recommend to you guys for this month is 21. A novel that was written about a very brilliant MIT student who was trying to get into Harvard, and he needed $300,000 to go to school. And of course he doesn't have this. He's from kind of a, not a poor family, but just like a middle-class family who doesn't usually have that much money to go to a school, and he is approached by his professor and given the opportunity to join this group that he has that goes to Vegas and counts cards and plays blackjack, and ultimately is just taking casinos for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And at first he is very, very hesitant to join, but knowing that he wants to go to Harvard and this may be the only way that his dream can come true. So the reason he joins this group and takes this opportunity is because he needs that money to go to Harvard. He said he's going to get his 300 grand and be done and get out. And of course, when you're in Vegas and you're doing all this, that doesn't necessarily end up always happening. And I'm not going to tell you what happened, of course, but he ends up getting into his whole group actually ends up getting into quite a little bit of trouble, and the rest of the movie is just kind of how they get out of that, and, you know, whether he actually ends up going to Harvard and whether everything works out for him. It's a really, really good story. Jim Sturgis plays the MIT student. Kate Bosworth is in it. They always have to add a romantic side to these films, and she plays the love interest, and also kind of part of the reason he chose to be in the group as well is she was in it, and she was a very bright student as well. And then Kevin Spacey plays Professor Rosa, the professor that recruited all these kids to come in and started taking them all to Vegas to count cards. So those are the three movies that I definitely recommend you see. I've seen them all this past month. I would watch all of them again and again and again. So go out and see it in theaters, go rent it, find them. Definitely all good. Okay, and now for my one movie that I suggest you guys not waste the time on watching. And it's sad. I was actually really hoping that this would be one of my must-see movies. I was so looking forward to seeing it. It was in my queue the day that it came out on Netflix, ready to watch. And it's Chloe. It came out in 2009. It stars Julianne Moore and Liam Neeson as a seemingly, you know, just perfect, happy couple. You know, they both have wonderful careers and they seem like self-confident individuals, but she starts to kind of fear that he's cheating on her when he misses a flight on his birthday home, and it kind of spirals out of control from there, and she meets a hooker, which is played by Amanda Seyfried, who she ends up hiring to try to seduce her husband and see if he'll actually take the bait and if he would cheat on her. And the whole movie goes from there, and the reason I don't like it is that it becomes very predictable after Amanda and her husband have their first meeting, and then she goes back and reports Julianne Moore. I don't know. From that moment on, I could tell what was going to happen, and it's not, I want to say creepy, but I mean, I like creepy, weird, different psychological movies, and I just don't feel like this one met the psychological thriller that it was deemed as. It wasn't that good, and it's sad because I really love all the actors in it. It definitely failed to impress. The storyline, like I said, very predictable, and I think they focused too much on making the sex scenes really sexy and hot, because it's Julianne Moore and Amanda Seyfried. People would probably watch the movie just for that fact, but that's all you're going to get out of it. The story isn't good. It's very slow, and it's just, you want it to be over and just let me out of this box I'm in. I'm sick of it. So, for your sake, don't waste your time. Don't watch it. Sadly, can't recommend it. If you want a good Julianne Moore movie, watch The Kids Are All Right. That was fantastic. Fantastic film. Everyone in that movie did a stellar job. So, those were all my choices. Go out, see them, rent them, don't watch one. And I will be back, I promise, in a week or two with another video. I'm hoping to go see a few more movies in theaters recently, because I was wanting to do that more last month, or this month, I guess, March, but like I said, sick, I've just been really busy, hadn't had a chance, but I will definitely be back sooner this time with some more reviews for you guys. So those were the choices to definitely see, go out, rent, go to the theater, and then one definitely just not to waste your time on. Hope you guys enjoy them, and I'll see you next time.